He won the race, but he couldn't look at the trophy. He stood on the podium in front of 50,000 people, and he said 5 words that ended his celebration forever. Today is not a day for celebration. Then he walked away. And for 30 years, Michael Schumacher never spoke about that moment again. Not once. Not in interviews, not in his autobiography, not even when he broke every record Ayrton Senna ever set. Because May 1st, 1994 was the day Michael Schumacher won a race, and the day Ayrton Senna died. This is the victory no one wanted, the podium no one celebrated, the silence that lasted a lifetime. 48 hours earlier, everything was different. Friday, April 29th, 1994, Imola Circuit. Practice session, Rubens Barrichello crashes at 225 kilometers per hour. His car flies over the barriers, lands upside down. The helmet cracks. He's unconscious. The session stops. Barrichello survives. But something feels wrong. Saturday, April 30th, 1994. Qualifying session. Roland Ratzenberger crashes at 314 kilometers per hour. The front wing fails. The car goes straight into the wall. He doesn't survive. He's 33 years old. This is his first real season in Formula One, and now he's gone. Ayrton Senna climbs out of his car. He doesn't remove his helmet. He walks to the medical center. He asks to see Ratzenberger's body. The doctors say no. Senna stands outside the door. 20 minutes, silent, shaking. That night, he calls his girlfriend. I don't want to race tomorrow. Then don't. I have to. He doesn't explain why, because even Ayrton Senna doesn't have the answer. Sunday, May 5th, 1994, race day. The paddock is quiet. The sky is gray. The drivers gather for a moment of silence. 60 seconds. No one moves. Then it's over, and it's time to race. The formation lap begins. Senna is on pole. Schumacher is second. The lights go out. Senna leads into the first corner. Schumacher follows. The Benetton is fast, but the Williams is faster. Senna pulls away. 1 second, 2, 3. By lap 5, Senna is untouchable. Then chaos. J.J. Leto stalls on the pit straight. Pedro Lamy crashes into him at full speed. Both cars explode. Wheels fly into the grandstands. 9 spectators injured. The race is red flagged. 30 minutes later, it restarts. Senna leads again. Schumacher follows. Lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, lap 5. Everything is normal. Lap 6, Tamburello corner. Left-hander. Flat out. 310 kilometers per hour. Senna's car doesn't turn. It goes straight into the wall. The impact is instant. The right front wheel rips off. It flies backwards, strikes Senna's helmet. The suspension arm pierces the cockpit. The car stops in the gravel. Smoke rises. Senna doesn't move. In the Benetton garage, Michael Schumacher removes his helmet. He doesn't know what happened. He only knows the race has stopped. He walks to the pit wall, looks at the monitors. He sees Senna's car, the medical helicopter, the yellow flags, and he knows something is very wrong. The medical team works for 20 minutes. They try to stabilize him. They try to move him. They try to save him. But Ayrton Senna is already gone. At 2:17 p.m., he's airlifted to the hospital. At 6:40 p.m., he's pronounced dead. He's 34 years old. 41 race wins, 3 world championships, the greatest driver of his generation. And now he's gone. The race continues. The officials decide that stopping would be worse, that honoring Senna means finishing, that Formula One must go on. The drivers don't agree, but they don't have a choice. Michael Schumacher leads. He drives in silence, no radio, no updates, just laps, one after another, mechanical, emotionless. He doesn't think about winning. He thinks about the car that didn't turn, the corner that should have been safe, the man who didn't survive. He crosses the finish line first. He wins the San Marino Grand Prix, but he doesn't celebrate. In the Benetton garage, the mechanics are silent. They don't cheer. They don't clap. They just watch as Michael climbs out. He removes his helmet. His face is blank. Someone hands him water. He drinks. Doesn't taste it. Someone says, go to the podium. He nods. He walks through the paddock. Photographers follow. He doesn't look at them. He climbs the stairs. The crowd is silent. 50,000 people. Not one cheer. The anthem plays. Michael Schumacher stands still. He doesn't smile. He doesn't wave. He doesn't lift the trophy. Someone hands him a microphone. The world waits. Schumacher lifts his head. His voice is quiet. Today is not a day for celebration. He sets the microphone down, and he never speaks about it again. Not in press conferences, not in interviews, not in documentaries, not in his autobiography. For 30 years, Michael Schumacher refuses to discuss May 4th, 1994. When journalists ask, he changes the subject. When fans ask, he says nothing. When historians ask, he gives one-word answers. May 4th, 1994 is the day Michael Schumacher becomes the future of Formula One. But it's not a day he celebrates. It's a day he carries. In 2003, Michael Schumacher wins his 6th world championship. He surpasses Senna's 3 titles. He becomes the most successful driver in Formula One history. At the press conference, a journalist asks, Do you think about Senna when you break his records? Schumacher pauses. Every time, what do you think about? That he should still be here, that he should have more than 3, that I shouldn't be the one breaking his records. Do you feel guilty? Schumacher doesn't answer. He stands. He leaves. The press conference ends. In 2006, Michael Schumacher announces his retirement. 7 world championships, 91 races, 68 pole positions, every record in the sport rewritten. At his final press conference, a journalist asks, "What is your greatest memory in Formula One?" Schumacher lists moments, wins, championships, Ferrari, the Tifosi, and your worst. Schumacher's face changes. Imola, 1994. Do you want to talk about it? No. That's the last time he mentions it publicly. But privately, Michael Schumacher never stops thinking about May 1st, 1994. He thinks about it every time he wins at Imola. He thinks about it every time someone mentions Senna. He thinks about it every time a driver crashes and doesn't get up. Because May 1st, 1994 is the day Michael Schumacher learns that Formula One isn't just about speed, it's about survival, and sometimes survival means living with the guilt of being the one who walked away. In 2012, Michael Schumacher returns to Imola, not to race. The circuit isn't on the Formula One calendar anymore, but he returns for a memorial, an acknowledgement. He stands at Tamburello Corner, the corner where Senna crashed, the corner that took his life. Schumacher doesn't speak. He just stands there, 20 minutes, alone. A photographer captures it. Schumacher's back to the camera, head down, hands in pockets. He looks small. Later, a journalist asked what he was thinking. "I was thinking about all the corners I've taken, all the times I've gone flat out, all the times I trusted the car, and I was thinking about the one time Ayrton trusted his car, and it failed him." Do you ever think it could have been you? Every day, Michael Schumacher's story is told as one of dominance, of perfection, of a man who rewrote Formula One. But it's also a story of silence. The silence of a man who won a race on the day his rival died. The silence of a man who broke records that should have belonged to someone else. The silence of a man who never forgave himself for surviving. In every interview, every documentary, every tribute, one question is always avoided. What did Michael Schumacher feel on May 1st, 1994? And the answer is always the same. He never spoke about it because some moments are too heavy for words. Some victories are too painful to celebrate. Some memories are carried in silence. And Michael Schumacher carried May 1st, 1994 for the rest of his life. On December 29, 2013, Michael Schumacher suffers a traumatic brain injury while skiing in the French Alps. He falls into a coma. He doesn't wake. His family keeps him in silence. No interviews, no updates, no public statements. The world waits. But Michael Schumacher never speaks again, and so the moment he never spoke about, May 1st, 1994, remains unspoken forever. There is a photograph taken on May 1st, 1994, Imola podium. Michael Schumacher on the top step, trophy beside him, Italian flag behind him, but his face tells a different story. His eyes are empty, his jaw is tight, his hands are still. He's not celebrating, he's surviving. And if you look closely, if you zoom in, you can see something in his expression, something that will never leave him. Guilt, not for winning, for being alive. 30 years later, Formula One remembers May 1st, 1994 as the day the sport lost Ayrton Senna. But it's also the day Michael Schumacher won a race he didn't want, a victory he couldn't celebrate, a moment he never spoke about. And that silence, more than any words, tells the entire story. Because sometimes what we don't say carries more weight than what we do. And Michael Schumacher's silence on May 1st, 1994 was louder than any speech. It was the silence of respect, the silence of grief, the silence of a man who understood that greatness isn't just about winning. It's about knowing when a victory means nothing. On May 1st, 1994, in Imola, Italy, Michael Schumacher stood on a podium and said the only thing that mattered, today is not a day for celebration. And then he never spoke about it again.